with talk of AEW budget issues within WWE and Undertaker set for a Hall of Fame induction. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for February 18th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. With her being absent from WWE TV since last year's Money in the Bank pay-per-view, Asuka could be gearing up to make a return to in-ring action, as PW Insider noted. For those who have asked about Asuka, we are told the hope is she will return from shoulder surgery by the end of the month, but that's not 100%, as it's all about when she will be cleared and slid back into storylines. After leaving WWE for a successful stint on the indie scene, Matt Cardona told the Headlocked panel at C2E2 that he was taught an important lesson while working for the company. I learned it a little bit too late in my career. These writers. If you want something done, you've got to go to Vince, because a lot of these writers are too afraid to pitch an idea to Vince. So I would just go and talk to Vince, and if he said no, at least I know the answer is no. Despite being released by WWE in April, Mickie James would make a one-off return for the company during the Royal Rumble, where she would turn up with her hardcore country persona. Speaking about this character on the Kurt Angle show, Mickie talked about pitching this gimmick to WWE previously. I had hoped for, and I wish, too in hindsight, that I would have pitched more or tried to push more for the hardcore country character, because it was something that I brought up there that they just never really understood or bid on. But it's almost like a blessing in disguise, because had they bid on it, I probably wouldn't have been able to come back and do this thing at the Rumble and have it go down the way it had. So everything happens for a reason. According to reports, Goldberg has one more match left on his WWE contract as he looks set to take on Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber. On After the Bell, Goldberg said he'd re-sign with the company if he becomes Universal Champion. I would not ride off into the sunset if I was victorious by any stretch of the imagination, because the champion's responsibility is to be there on television and represent it to the nth degree. Believe me when I say that if I win, I wouldn't run out of here. I would not hold anybody up. I would not do anything like that because of what the business has given me. Goldberg would take to his Instagram after he arrived in Saudi Arabia, telling fans that this could be his last bout.
Okay, seems like we've been here before. I was a little younger and it was a different city, but this would be Riyadh. I would be the 55-year-old Goldberg now. And yes, off the 13-hour flight, I was the first one in the frickin' gym. The second one, the best announcer in the world, Michael Cole. Got a job to do Saturday, and could be my last in the WWE ring. So tune in, watch me smash Roman like I've wanted to do for the past 20 years. Thank you.
During his interview with Kurt Angle, AEW star Miro touched on his time on NXT and how his pairing with his wife came about. American Dream, baby, Dusty Rhodes. He was so smart, man. Dusty was so brilliant. CJ, my wife, Lana, she just got signed in May or something. We got to meet then. Then it was not until 2 weeks later that Dusty found out she could speak perfect English and perfect Russian. They knew they had me, and I knew they were already looking at me because I had this dark match with Dolph Ziggler that Triple H was there and got to see. And he asked who I am, and then from then on, we rode that gravy train. Then CJ came in. We started doing promos together, but once again, when you're in developmental, you just want to do funny stuff because everybody laughs. Then one day we were told, hey guys, you should try something serious, and we did. We did try something serious and got the inspiration from Rocky for Drago and Mila. We rode with that, Triple H loved it, and everything from there was like, yeah, soon you're going to debut, and everything started going. Once the company has something behind you, it's very easy to go up. The problem is when they don't. While AEW previously had plans to hold their Double or Nothing pay-per-view in Las Vegas, the situation with COVID-19 would change that. Now the company will be hosting an event in Sin City this Memorial Day weekend. To talk about his plans to bring shows to the West Coast, Tony Khan told Sporting News that I would love to bring AEW out to the West Coast, and I'm very excited to say that we are coming back. So I think it could be very soon, this summer. AEW is slated to return to Las Vegas, where it all began for us. The first AEW show was Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. We'll be back Memorial Day weekend in Las Vegas again, so I think fans can look forward to that. Our next pay-per-view, of course, is Revolution in Orlando, and then we've got Double or Nothing, the pay-per-views after that. It's Memorial Day weekend, so it's every quarter. We have a huge event, but after Double or Nothing, I think we can look forward to maybe having AEW out there. Who knows? With Tony Khan expecting a more lucrative TV rights deal to come in 2024, those outside of AEW are talking about budget issues within that company. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer gave details regarding these talks in the WWE locker room. On the WWE side, talent was talking like AEW had a budget issue, noting that two WWE names who were both great workers had deals up, with Kevin Owens being one and the other not being Sami Zayn, but someone whose contract situation has not been public, and there was at least interest in them as far as seeing what AEW had. Legally, neither one could be negotiated with, and Owens signed a new deal before his old deal expired. The other is still with the company, appearing regularly on television. AEW didn't make a play, and the word was that AEW had a talent budget, and we're not going to match the WWE's high offers unless or until they got a new and higher paying television deal, and that won't be until the start of 2024. Khan has also talked about signing more new talent, with Keith Lee signed and Shane Strickland and Jeff Hardy both expected to be coming at some point, and other ex-WWE names have been talked with, such as Buddy Matthews. Also in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Meltzer would touch on the situation surrounding Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, saying Tony Khan could have stopped this from happening. Some close to the situation believed he got such a big offer from WWE after becoming a free agent that he couldn't turn it down. But there is still the unanswered question of why his contract wasn't rolled over, because legally, Khan did have control to prevent this from happening. Khan had done so for every other person whose deal had that option clause, and thus could negotiate for a WWE deal if they wanted to test the outside market. Also, when it comes to the Rhodes to the Top reality show, TNT are looking at their options now that Cody is no longer part of the network. They'd already started filming season 2, and that's another aspect of this deal. The story is that TNT is exploring options of what to do with footage already filmed for season 2, and everything is still up in the air, and decisions are likely to be made in the coming weeks. Meltzer would even point out that some were reportedly happy to see Cody and Brandi leave AEW. While many publicly thanked Cody for his work, it was noted to us that this was not universal. There were those happy both Cody and Brandi were gone, and thought the hero treatment given to him by some of the company after he left is a great public story, but not the real story. On Twitter, I'm with AEW would end up trending, as many are showing their support for the company following the departure of Cody Rhodes. Join the AEW train, kids. We're ever growing and making big moves. Plus, you get to see me, as well as so many up-and-coming superstars that are coming into their own. Everything is a process, let me hear you. Been with AEW since day one and staying till the end. To the company that gave me back my love and passion for wrestling. I get to sing Judas and see the House of Black entrance live next week. Oh hell yeah. Laughing out loud at the I'm with AEW hashtag just shows how back into a corner they are. The moment Punk returned, I became a bigger fan of AEW. With WrestleMania taking place in Dallas, the Hall of Fame ceremony will see a Texas native and WWE legend in The Undertaker get inducted. This will take place on Friday, April 1st at the American Airlines Center as a part of Mania Week. After putting out a statement on the departure of Cody Rhodes from AEW, Tony Khan has taken to Busted Open Radio to give additional comments regarding this matter. I put out a statement that was from the heart and really positive, and I meant it. I wish Cody and Brandi Rhodes really well, and I appreciate everything they did here in their different roles in the company. It's very sad. It's not something any of us wanted to happen. I believe that Cody has got something else in the works. I'm not sure about that. We'll see. I'm sure they're going to have great opportunities in wrestling and life. You never know what's going to happen in the future. I wish them the best and very appreciative for everything they did here. Talking to Give Me Sport about the upcoming pay-per-view, Bianca Belair mentioned the match between Becky Lynch and Lita, where she noted who she'd like to see come out on top. It would be a cool moment to see Lita as champion again, reaping the benefits of all the work she's sown for the women's division. I think she has a great chance, but I can't lie, I want Becky to win, only because I want to be the person to take the title off of her at WrestleMania. I will be upset if I'm not the one that gets the chance to take the title off Becky. Speaking of Becky Lynch, she spoke to Bleacher Report recently about criticism she has received for her character, as she made it clear that those being critical of her are silly. Sometimes you laugh it off. I was watching the Olympics, and I was watching these incredible athletes do ice skating. They're doing these incredible 360s. I'm not a good ice skater. I'm sure I can put one foot in front of the other and keep my balance, but I can't do pirouettes and flips and all of this mad stuff and synchronized dancing and twirls. I was watching, I said to my husband, I don't like these people. I hate their facial expressions. Then I laughed at how ridiculous that is. Imagine if I had put that up on Twitter and I had criticized these people who had been training their whole life doing these impossible tasks that I had never done. It's silly. We're here, we're the best in the game, we're the best in the world. Anybody criticizing me when I'm arguably the best at what I do, it's just silly. Training with Booker T from the young age of 13, Rok-C has now been signed by WWE. His book talked about this on the MMA Hour, saying, I'm more so often to working with the talent that is trying to get to the next level. One of my girls just debuted on AEW Dynamite with Jade Cargill, that's AQA. They just signed her to a contract and that's really cool. One of my girls, Rok-C, WWE just signed her. She was my youngest champion in reality of wrestling. She started with me in a fantasy camp. At 13 years old, her dream was to be reality of wrestling champion. I got guys out there floating around all over the world. That's my passion, working with young guys from an in-ring perspective, a mental perspective, a life perspective. It gives me purpose. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.